Have you ever been to the woods or any place where you might encounter a bear, like in real life? Has anyone? You've been in a place where you could encounter a bear? You've encountered a bear? Colorado. Yeah, if you're coming to camp this summer with us, you could encounter a bear. Now, I like to spend a lot of time out in the woods, and if you have too, even if you haven't, you've probably heard this phrase goes something like this. You don't have to be faster than the bear. You just have to be faster than someone else, right? And that's my motto, because despite these grasshopper legs I got going on, I'm not really that fast. So my plan, if I ever encountered a bear with a group of people, is I'm just going to trip somebody and just I'm sorry, but I want to live. And so, but I'm also not only am I not that fast, I'm also not that strong, which is hard for most people to believe. When you look at me and you're like, buddy's yoked up. Buddy can bench 350. I know, but I can't. It's all show, no go. I had the body of Jack Skellington back in the day. Y'all know from Nightmare Before Christmas. But the good thing with that is I was taller than everybody. So that was a good thing, right? I'm 6'6", but then everyone's like, okay, so since you're so tall, you should be good at basketball, right? Well, I'm not. Sam knows. I'm really kind of trash. Yeah. So everyone would say, bro, you're not fast. You're not good at sports. You're not strong. You're a waste. You're a waste of humanity. I've heard literally people tell me I'm a waste of height. God made a mistake and he gave you the height. There's people who are good at basketball. Why couldn't you give some of that to me? I'm like, bro, I don't know. I don't make the decisions. I'm sorry. I apologize for some reason. But so then I'm like, okay, well, maybe I can, I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm not that. I can change some things about myself. Because I tried out for the basketball team. I tried out for the baseball team. I didn't make these teams. I really did try. I practiced and everything. It didn't matter. It's just not in the genetics. In college, I actually tried to make an effort to bulk up because I got sick of people making, skeleton jokes around me. And I remember getting on an 8,000 calorie a day diet. One of my friends was a kinesiology major. He's like, I'll put you on a diet every day, eat this. Also, take a mass gainer protein shake in the morning and at night. So I was doing that, spent hundreds of dollars, ate until I was sick for 60 days. You want to know how much weight I gained? Nothing, dude. Zero. And I wasn't trying to be Joey Swole or anything, dude. I was just trying to be proportional, to just look like my friends and just look like everybody else. I was sick of being a freak. That's how I felt. And I realized something, that's probably 21 or something. And I'm going to tell it to you now. You probably know this in your head, but I wonder if you believe it in your heart. It's just that comparison is a trap. All I was doing, I'm not faster. I'm not fast enough. I'm not, good at sports enough. My body, I had these issues, which is how I looked and stuff. And I realized that comparison is a trap. And I made this decision that I'm going to be okay with who I am and what I'm good at and what I'm not. And if everyone was just that, if we would all stop trying to be bigger, be smaller, be better, be different, if we could all just accept and embrace just who we are and where we are, then the world would just be a better place because we would eliminate comparison, which I think always leads to dissatisfaction. And for me, depression. It took me to a bad place. And that's why I bring this up, because I don't want anyone to be in a bad place. I don't want anyone to feel how I felt at that time, but I know it's so hard. And I would bet money that every single person in here struggles with comparison to some degree, just like I did. And if that's the case, then I want you to know something. Well, everyone else seems to be better than you at some stuff, and you don't feel, fast enough, pretty enough, smart enough, healthy enough. You don't have enough friends, or even your relationship with God. It's easy to look at and say, like, oh, that person is so much more holy than me. Like, and you start to feel so bad about yourself. Do you get to this place where you get this sick satisfaction out of seeing other people fail? Like, if you're going to be real honest, does it make you feel better whenever someone who's better than you at something fails and they lose and they get humbled? It's like, yes, like somehow the decline of someone else elevates you. Do you feel that? I did. I felt it like just the other week last week, like before TikTok got banned. I saw this video of this woman getting body slammed in the street, and it was so satisfying. You know the one? She's like, gets out of her car and approaches this other car and is like, you're driving really close. And she's getting all like in this guy's face. And the guy's like, look, lady, I don't want any trouble or whatever, starts to walk away. And she just sucker punches him like around the back of the head. So he turns around, clocks her right in the face, picks her up and just boom, like on, like, and then you hear her like groan. She's like, and I don't know, like I watched it. I'm like, yeah. And then I was like, wait, what's wrong with me? Like watching someone else just get hurt and humiliated. And I'm like, I knew that as good as that kind of feels, it's probably rooted in something not good, some revenge, some vengeance, some like living vicariously through. I was like, it's like funny and all that, but it's like, there's a deeper thing going on in our heart that I think we have to address, because this isn't the best solution, right? Like belittling others to feel better about yourself. It kind of works, but that doesn't mean it's best. It doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean that's what we should do. So what can we do to be better and to do this well to where kind of everybody wins, right? And that's the goal of this morning. There's this guy named Peter, and we'll actually be in this book that he wrote in the Bible. It's called 1 Peter. It's the first letter he wrote. If you want to start turning there or get there in your Bible app as I kind of set it up. So Peter was one of Jesus' closest friends, and he helps us out with this concept. His name was originally Simeon or Simon, and the English translation, you'll hear him even throughout scriptures be referred to as Simon Peter. Simon Peter, but Jesus essentially changes his name when he became a disciple and started following Jesus. He's like, your name's not going to be, Simon anymore. It's actually going to be Rock, like not Dwayne Johnson, but Rock, the Greek word Petros, and it's because he's like, on you, I want you to be the solid foundation that I'm going to build my church on. Capital C church, global following of all people who would ever put their faith in Jesus everywhere. Like on you, the Rock, like I want to build this thing. Like I'm going to use you as that foundation. So he literally changed his name, and Petros kind of comes over into English, and we've made it into Peter. So that's where his name comes from. Like they weren't walking around 2,000 years ago and be like, hey, Peter. Like, no, it's not Family Guy. So Peter was Peter was a pretty solid dude, and he wrote to some Christians who had been spread around to different cities, and they were trying to figure out what it meant to follow Jesus, but they found themselves in this comparison trap with all the people around them who had things they didn't, and then seeing how they stacked up to other people in society, and what they ended up experiencing was bullying. They were getting bullied, and they were getting tormented for their faith and for who they are. And so this passage is pretty darn relatable. In 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 5, he writes this: all of you clothe yourselves with humility to one another. And there's the word again, humility, been a theme throughout this series. Clothe yourselves with humility to one another, because God opposes the proud, but he shows favor to the humble. And what Peter's doing is actually quoting a verse out of the Old Testament, Proverbs chapter 3, verse 34, which was written by Solomon, the wisest person to ever live. And I want to focus on not that section of it, the God opposes the proud, but gives favor to the humble part, but I want to look at one word, and the word is just clothe. Clothe. In the New Testament, which was written in Greek, by the way, The word translated clothe here is ekombaomai. Say that 3 times fast. Yeah, ekombaomai. And this just literally means to put on clothes. So it's like if humility was an article of clothing, metaphorically speaking, like take it and put it on. Put it on. But there's a deeper meaning to this. Ekombaomai is actually a really rare word that we don't see written in the Bible or otherwise from this time period. It actually refers to a specific article of clothing. It's an apron, usually made of like leather or something, that slaves would put over their regular clothes. Think about it. They're going around society like looking a type of way. Then they would put something on that everyone can see. When you put something on, everyone sees it. And it was with the purpose of serving other people. This was something they put on in preparation to serve others. This is what we're called to put on. Humility. Not pride, not ego, not being better than everyone else, not shaming other people, not elevating yourself at the expense of others. We're called to humbly serve them, and there's power in that. You might put on humility here at Riverbend Youth, or when you go to any church service or something like that. But do you change your clothes when you go to school? Do you change your clothes whenever you're somewhere else? What are people seeing? Do you got the ekombaomai on? Or are you wearing something else? Are you wearing something else when you're with certain friends? And you change clothes like a chameleon? What about whenever you're all alone? And you're in the house by yourself with internet access and no one's looking? I want to give 2 practical ways to sort of apply this, and then we'll be done. Number 1 is look for opportunities to serve. Look for opportunities to put on humility. If you'll just kind of like reframe your mindset for a second, there are opportunities all around us all of the time. Even today, you've had dozens and dozens of opportunities to serve. When I say serve, I'm not talking about going on a mission trip necessarily. I'm not talking about going to another country and helping feed or give clean water to people who don't have any necessarily. You can definitely do that. You could also sit next to someone who's sitting alone. You could also say hi to somebody. You could also hold the door open for someone. You know what I'm saying? Like you could include a middle schooler in something that you're doing. Like those are acts of service. They're just small things. They're simple things. But when you do that, you are putting on humility. Because it'd be easier to be like, nah, like I'm bigger than that. I'm better than that. Like I don't gotta do all that. Put on your apron and serve someone. It could be so simple. A word of encouragement. It goes a long way. It matters, dude. And you have opportunities like that all the time. So look for them. Just ask God literally to open your eyes to be able to see these opportunities. They're all around you all the time. Number 2, look for people who live humbly. Look for people who do this and then surround yourself with them. You know how I say it all the time, like you become like the people you spend the most time with. All right. So who are they? And not only the physical people you spend a lot of time with, but who are your influencers? Who are the people that you sort of aspire to be like, or that you look up to, or you're consuming their content all of the time? Because I think that has this effect on us, right? Where it's like low-key, we start to kind of idolize the person and just the way they talk or the lifestyle that they live or what they have and stuff. And we see that all the time. We're like, yeah. And we start to emulate and imitate these people that we just watch all the time. That's what influence is. And so if these people are gaining success at the expense of others and they don't care how many bodies they leave broken and bloodied along the way, like they're going to achieve success, is that really the type of person that you want to look up to? Is that really the type of person you want to be? Or do you want to be the one that elevates others? Because rising tides raise all ships, right? Who makes people around them better while also being better themselves. That's the call. That's who we want to be. That's who Jesus was. That's what he did for us, right? And I don't know about you, but I want to be more like him. I want to be confident and humble. I want to serve, but I also wouldn't mind some success. It's this balance. And not at the expense of others either. I want everyone to win. I want everyone to win. So at the end of the day, I just want us all to remember this. Your worth and your value is not determined by the success or failures of anyone, including yourself. You got to put yourself in that. Victories, losses, successes, failures, they don't determine your worth and your value. Also, the victories and the failures of other people don't either. Like if everyone else around you fails or whatever, like that doesn't make you better. All right? Think about how to put on humility confidently and boldly as we live this life for Jesus. Maybe start practicing it this week. Maybe practice it before you even leave. You're going to have opportunities. Ask God to show you these things. Show me opportunities to serve. Simple little things.